In a number of offices around the world, we have tried to install a way of working where people do not have a fixed desk and they do not have an office. The title is not so important. It's more important what you bring to the table. Lego is originally coming from Denmark and has had its headquarters and its background in Denmark. So of course it has also influenced us as a company. From a leadership point of view, I do think that the way, if you are experiencing Lego from the inside and you're part of the organization, I think you will feel that our leadership style and our organizational culture is also taking a distinct point of departure in the Nordic culture, in the Danish culture as such. You could say in many ways the Danish society is known for a number of things, but one of them is also that it's a quite egalitarian society, meaning that we're not trying to promote the differences between high and low, and we're trying to say that people have equal opportunities. And in fact, it's a society that doesn't really distinguish a lot between people, whether they are with certain titles or do not have certain titles. And in many ways, I think when you work inside Lego, you start to feel that as well. You're feeling that we're a company where the title is not so important. It's more important what you bring to the table. And I think people will see that we are quite informal. We are allowing a lot of people to interact at very different levels of the organization, because we always believe that it's the better idea that has to be surfaced, not necessarily the idea that comes from somebody who has the, you could say, the highest rank in the organization. So this kind of informal, flat structure, organizational structure, is also one way in which I believe that we're taking some traits of what is probably a Danish or a more Nordic, you could say, background, and allowing that to influence us in the way that we're working. One way of how the Lego Group is expressing this, you could say, egalitarian or maybe a more flat approach to the organization is how we, for instance, have set up our office. In a number of offices around the world, we have tried to install a way of working where people, irrespective of what level in the organization they are, do not have a fixed desk and they do not have an office. And what we're trying to promote is a seamless interaction between people, both people at different levels of the organization and people from different departments of the organization. So when you enter the office in the morning, essentially what you do is you come into an open space and you find out where you want to work, and you base that on a choice between what is going to be making you most efficient in working, in what particular task you have to do, in what particular mood you're in that day. So this kind of activity-based working is allowing the employees to sit and basically work in whatever field and whatever place that makes them most productive. Even I, as the general manager of the organization, do not have an office. I have to go in and I sit sometimes next to people that are in finance, sometimes next to people that are sitting in marketing, and that's the way that we work. If that makes me the most productive that day, that's the way I should be working. One of the great creative challenges we have inside Lego is to make sure that we are creating the right kind of friction that allows us to explore how far we can take the Lego experience, but still being very true to the core. And we want to make sure that we stay relevant and we push the boundaries of what children and parents have experienced before, but we also want to do it in a way where there is a natural link to what is the expectation from Lego and the core of Lego. So this is an area that gives us a lot of energy as an organization, is that we constantly have to reinvent ourselves, but we have to reinvent ourselves in a way where we look new and fresh to the outside world, but are doing it based on something that is so true to what the core experience is, and something people will say, yes, it is new, it is different, but it's obviously Lego. So when we talk about the creative expression with Lego, we would like to see that our designers are just the ones creating the starting point of a journey where children are allowed to use their own imagination to come up with a limitless amount of different expressions of what either a toy, a universe, what roleplay could be all about. So that's why when you have the bricks, even just with 6 bricks, you have hundreds of millions of different ways of putting them together. So that just means that this is a tool for endless expressions. Young people or even adults are coming up with their own creations, and maybe sometimes they're even building off the Lego products and saying they create their own new elements, their own new expressions we are encouraging this. We feel it's great that there are fans out there who have such a passion for Lego that they want to not only use what we have developed, but actually come up with their own ideas of adding things to it that for them can make it even more relevant. In that sense, we like to see Lego as an open platform that are allowing children and young adults and all kinds of, you could say, people that are playful at heart to come up with whatever expression they want. Whether that's using only Lego bricks and using Lego bricks as a starting point and then their own elements on top of that. We encourage all of that because it's a celebration of creativity.